Okay, next we have myself, Cheryl, and Becky talking a bit about the BLUECloud preview. So BLUECloud is SirsiDynix. Do you have a definition on this in the first slide?
I've got slides.
So BLUECloud is SirsiDynix trying to move the functionality of the ILS more onto the cloud itself rather than being so dependent on the client as we are on Horizon and Citrix right now. But now that Cheryl's up here, I'll let her continue on.
So I mentioned before when I was doing the other presentation that we've got this handy-dandy new web services server. And what SirsiDynix is doing is moving us to a cloud-based world. If you've come to any of the sessions we've done previously with the Kosugi updates, we've talked about this before. So this isn't brand new. It's just now it's really becoming fruition. Especially for Horizon libraries, there has been a little bit more movement for the Symfony libraries, but now we're not the red-headed stepchildren anymore. so it's in each web services release is going to have more and more really cool stuff, and they're doing lots of small releases, which is exciting. Like I said, when we did the upgrade back in March, we were at like 2010, 11 or 10 or something like that. Now we're at 2016-4, so that's the year and the month that they released. But we're on the newest one. So I'm going to show you some of these. I'm going to show you BLUECloud Circ, or Mobile Circ, sorry. And then there's BLUECloud Circ. That's coming later this year. It's not quite ready yet for Horizon. Actually, I don't think it's ready for anybody yet. They've been working really hard on it. And then BLUECloud Cataloging has been available to us for some time, but it didn't really get functional until this last upgrade that we did with the web services, the 2015 one. And then BLUECloud Analytics is what Tyler's going to talk about, and that one's kind of even further back as far as development goes. So the important thing to remember as we go through our presentations here, that it's in the agenda as a preview, because these really we are just beginning to play with these in-house. We're at different stages of rolling these out to you. Some are a little bit more functional than others. So get excited, but don't get too excited. So,
otherwise, you'll end up crying at the presentation, having to wait 4 years.
Okay, so yeah. So Mobile Circ is the one that is the furthest along right now. It has been available to Horizon libraries for the longest amount of time, although it wasn't until I think last fall that check-in and check-out became available. So I don't really know what you call Circ without check-in and check-out, but I call it useless. So it is meant to be Circ Lite, right? It is meant to work on a mobile device. So your iPad, I have it on my phone. And there's an app solution for both Apple and Android. I have not even had a chance to hijack James's Android and play with it yet, but I will one of these days and force him to use my Apple device. So, and there is a browser version of Mobile Circ. It is not as functional. It isn't, because it's not designed to be a browser, but in a jam, it's useful. I think it hooks up to your barcode scanner. Not your receipt printer, but your barcode scanner. So I'm gonna, I think, do a demo, or do I talk about more? Right, so keep this in mind. We're in the early stages. So, and one thing you cannot do currently in the mobile app that I know you're all gonna ask me about is you can't place holds. So that's the big thing they're working on for BLUECloud Circ. But the workaround for that being use Enterprise.
Or Bookmine.
Yeah, or Bookmine. So you have your other thing open and switch over to place requests. Offline Circ is going to be out this year. Later this year, it's due out. And so anybody that starts using Mobile Circ, and I keep looking at Alice because she's testing it right now. Basically what we're looking for is your feedback for how useful it is, what's not working, what is working, so that then we can give that to SirsiDynix, because we don't have a lot of control over what I'm about to show you. Okay, so I'm going to show you a demo, and Mike's got this handy dandy thing. And I am now,
I'm paused.
do I hit mirroring?
Do I need to stop? Okay.
And you'll all, okay, so then I hit mirroring. Yes, that's my kitty, Lazarus. Well, so you're now seeing my iPad, and I'm going to show you how Mobile Circ works. And again, I have it on my phone, which is really great because you have a data plan. So if your internet goes out, you still have access to Horizon. So, and this is all live in the database with jokes. So, all right, so I'm logging in right now. And this is just my normal Horizon login. I have to set you up in sort of a browser-based setting to get this to work, but it's like I just have to connect your login to Horizon, and then you're in. So I'm going to turn on, this is a Bluetooth barcode scanner that we got, and it should take a second. And there, it beeped, and it's now connected. This is kind of cool. So as you can see, oh, I shouldn't do that. Okay. Is that better, or is that's better? Yeah. Okay, so you can see here, check in, check out, renew by user, renew by items, in-house, et cetera, et cetera. This is live in Horizon. It's working right now. I'm going to check something out myself. Actually, I'm going to do check-in first, I think. So I'm just going to hit my little button, and there's a red, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm also kind of at an awkward angle. Of course this happens, right? It's there. So it vibrates, makes a little beep, and it fills it out, and it's checking it in. It's available. These weren't actually checked out, but one of them's on hold. So I'm going to show you that. And it takes a second. There's also a delay, right? And it says, item is requested, place in transit to Spring Valley Library. Well, that's not what I set up, but okay. So somebody has requested this book in the meantime. And this is the one I think I requested. Yes, this is the one I requested. So like I said, it's live in the database. So you will notice I don't have a receipt printer. You can get a Bluetooth receipt printer to work with these if you wanted to have it work that way. Those ones that I just had on hold should pop up and print out to your receipt printer. I just don't have one. As long as you're doing it through check-in. So if we wanted to check something out, you could, at this point, scan the borrower barcode if they had it. You could use the camera function. That's what that little dot is, or the little 3-line, the barcode-y thing is the camera. It's just you have to be really steady, and I'm not going to be that steady with you guys all watching me. So instead, I'm going to select the user search. And it's the same as if you hit F4. It's the same indexes, but they don't all work the same. So I'm just going to type in, because I have this on. So in Apple, the keyboard doesn't show up, so I'm just going to turn it off real quick. And then my keyboard shows up. And Cheryl with no comma does not work the same as Cheryl with a comma, which is exceedingly annoying, but and you'll notice there's no location. That's something they're working on. So Cheryl, and we'll do my testing account. Oh, and I have a block, so that pops up. I don't really have that block. I just put it on my account so you would see blocks. I don't really owe anybody $50, I promise. So. But you can see it shows up red, letting you know, and then any of your Circ privileges that are in Horizon will still apply here. So if you have something, I don't know, you limit to 4 books or something, you would still get those same errors here. So we'll go ahead and, I got to turn it back on. Because you could, at this point, if you didn't have the barcode scanner, type in the barcode number or take a picture of it. But again, you got to have some steady hands. So we'll just do that. Yes, and obviously you get the override button because I have the high fines, so I just wanted to show you that. So if we went to a different account, I hit switch user, and I'm going to go to my, switch user. We're going to go to my actual real account. So I'm still up here, and we'll go to my account. Oh, and I have an overdue. That was to show you, I promise. So, okay, we'll just hit override for that one. Yeah, no, that one's actually sitting over by Sherry. Okay, so there's a bunch of weird blocks on that. Oh, and this is the one that was in transit to Spring Valley, so we can't do that. So let's try this one. So next time I watch a demo of somebody doing something, I'm going to have a lot more pity for that. So anyway, there you go. It gives you the due date. You could print out a slip at this point. I haven't tested out the email slips yet, but supposedly that works. If we were then going to check in, it kind of keeps it in the memory, but you could check in. And you could also, there's a renew by item, there's a renew by user. Let's see, if we do renew by user and we search for my account again, the one with the overdue, which I think was this one. Okay, renew items, and you'll see it has the scene and the renew, and that's the scene is like when you check it in, or you go to renew it, and it asks you in Horizon, is this item present? It's the same thing. So I don't care, so let's just renew. Okay. So let's look at, let's see, I haven't tested out the inventory yet or the deselect. You can add a user, and this has the same required fields as Horizon. You can modify a user, so we can modify my account. I think, if it wants to let me. There we go. So let's say I don't want you guys to know my phone number. So I turn this back off and switch over. And oh, it's a number that does not exist anymore. Okay. So if you logged into Horizon right now and looked at my account, that phone number would be in there right now. And just like if you add a user, it would show up live in the database. Let's see. I think I also wanted to show you holds by user, because I put a lot of work into this one. Okay. So you can see your holds by user. I'll show you the comma here.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I can help. So you can see the different holds by your user. Again, you can't place holds in here. My favorite is the last one. I even brought that in from OCLC just for this.
We don't have that in the region?
No. Okay. So you can display, remove, modify, cancel. Oh, that's not good. I didn't realize. I thought it would do the asterisks for that one, like it does in Horizon. Let's remove that. All right. Well, that's a bug. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so as you can see, it does a lot. There's a lot of things it doesn't do that are that great. I'm just going to show you the pull list here. On the one hand, it's kind of neat because it works a little faster than going into Circ reports and generating your pull list, but you can't sort it And of course, right now it's slow, probably because my internet connection is slow. But it has a lot of terminology that is more Symfony-based. Like, you can't see it right now because it's taking forever to load, but library is our location, and current location is actually our collection codes. So, yeah, we kind of have to complain to get them to change that, but that's partially what I plan on doing over the next year. So they're coming out with new updates. They say they're going to have the holds functionality by like October or August. I can't remember which. Right now, as far as the future of the project goes, I'm sort of in a holding pattern because we don't have any hardware to loan out to the region, which is kind of my goal, is to sort of have a kit or something. So it sort of depends on the budget as I look at Anne. So, but if you have hardware, if you have an iPad or an Android device and are interested in testing this out or using it at your library or see some functionality for this, send an email to the help desk, shoot me an email. I can work with you. These barcode scanners, you would have to purchase one if you wanted one. They're not terribly expensive. $200, yeah, is what this cost. And they're going to be in the, we've talked about possibly adding it to the fall PC purchase. So they're in there. The great thing about this, like I mentioned before, is it works on your phone. My phone does a hotspot, so if you go, you have no internet in your library because whatever, you can still access and check in and check out. And like I said, the offline Circ mode is going to be on this eventually, and we're going to move away from PC reliance one day. This, let me think, what else? Oh, some people I've talked to have already gotten some ideas of how to use it. This was designed for sort of like an outreach situation, but can certainly be used in your building. So bookmobiles is one really popular use for this. Do you go to your schools and do like a summer reading program event and want to sign people up? Do you go to county fairs? Do you work with your early childhood education and want to get people signed up? Because you can add them to the database right at this point. So, and check material out to them right at this point. Let's see, we should probably disconnect and go back to the scanner. Sorry guys, I have to put the fun Bluetooth scanner away.
Cheryl, we're also talking about a book bike, and I think that would be really useful.
Yeah, a book bike. We've talked with Liz at Houston about that too. We're going to try and get her working on something like that. We're low on time, so I have to get going, but ask me questions if you see me afterwards. So this is exciting stuff. It's the future. So, yeah.
All right. So I am going to give you a real quick demo of BLUECloud Cataloging. With any luck at all. Is it okay if I use yours?
Oh, go for it.
Sweet.
Assuming it works.
There you go. You should. As I said, it should. So the big thing with BLUECloud Cataloging is that with BLUECloud Cataloging, you basically eliminate the need to search in Horizon, find nothing, sigh heavily, drag out all your information, go to OCLC, find what you're looking for, download it to a file, go back into Horizon and import it. This is drag and drop cataloging. It's the coolest thing ever. So if I search for something, I'm going to use my regular example here. So I search, and this is pulling live from Horizon. Any changes that I make in BLUECloud Cataloging, same as Mobile Circ, they write instantly to Horizon. And it thinks for a little bit, because it's working. It's working a little bit longer. You can do a title search, you can do an ISBN search, and lo and behold, we've found the bib that we're looking for, Darker State of Magic. We click it, open. This is basically like sending it to the MARC editor in Horizon, and lo and behold, it comes up with the record as you'd see it in the MARC tags. You can see the tags that you've got, your ISBN, author, title, it's all here. And as I'm looking through this record, I noticed down at the bottom that we're missing any form of subject headings. And I go, well, that's not ideal. And so I click this little button down at the bottom here called Smart Search. And what Smart Search does is we've set up in the background some Z3950 connections, which basically is searching OCLC right now. And I have a couple of indexes set up. Right now it's searching ISBN. If I go to the next index, it's searching by OCLC, and we find an exact match to the bib that's in our system. If you're looking at the top, you can see the Horizon record is on the left side. OCLC's database is on the right side. And if I scroll down and through the record, I notice that we're missing the 520, the summary note. I notice we're also missing the 650s. And I go, you know, I'd really like our record to have those. So I'm going to grab it, drag it, and drop it. And it shows up in my Horizon record. I'm going to do the same thing with some of the subject headings. Drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop. And I go, yeah, that's great. And I save it. And now those changes that we've made to the bib are in Horizon. It's great.
That is so cool.
I know. I'm going to search one more title to show you. If I can spell.
So while she's doing that, I will just say my caveat with this is the first time I saw this
Demoed at Kosugi, it made me cry because it was so easy, but it was 3 years ago. So it's come a long way, but there's still a lot of work that...
way.
So your tears of joy turn to tears of frustration.
A little bit, yeah.
And
But
I will also give the caveat while we're waiting for a few things here that it is buggy.
yeah.
And it is difficult, and to get it to this point has taken probably about 3 weeks of me crying over my keyboard and trying not to break things. But once it works really well. So we're going to do the same thing with this record. We're going to do the Smart Search again, and this is an extraordinarily bare bones record if you look at it. We've got an author, we've got a title, we've got just a real slim pickings if you look at that Horizon record on the left side. So I look at the record in OCLC and I go, you know, this has a lot more stuff and I don't want to take the time to drag and drop every single field over into the record. So instead of dragging and dropping, I can either choose merge or replace. Right now the difference between those two things, merge will bring over every field from the OCLC record that doesn't exactly match the field in Horizon. Replace will replace the whole thing. Just in case you're worried about that kind of thing, which we were with those buttons, I do, or will eventually, have the ability to protect certain local fields that we want protected. So, for instance, the OCLC number wouldn't get overwritten, or the ISBN wouldn't get overwritten, things like that for identification, for MinLink reasons, for OCLC holdings reasons, we want those things. That particular feature is being extraordinarily difficult right now. But because I've matched it on OCLC number, and I know it's the exact same reason, I'm going to hit replace. And lo and behold, everything that's been changed in that record now exactly matches what's in OCLC. It instantly imported everything, and I save it, and we've got a much better record in Horizon that now has things like subject headings and series statements and other fun things like that. So it eliminates, it's so easy and it's so pretty and it's so nice when it works well. So once again, this is very, very much a work in progress. As we do some more testing, as we find some more things out, we're going to be looking at a pilot program, but that's a number of months down the road as we work out users and permissions and cataloging and all that other good stuff. But it's coming, and it's great.
Okay, first off, I apologize. I thought the sessions this half would go faster, so I will just speed through mine so we get some time for Jacob here. So mine is BLUECloud Analytics, and I am yet to the tearing out my hair and hitting my head on my desk and crying face, so it's not nearly as ready as BLUECloud Cataloging is. So at this point, it honestly kind of looks a lot like Web Reporter. One of the main differences between it, though, is when we talk to SirsiDynix, we can get basically an unlimited number of logins to just run reports. Although at this point, we do have to contact them to create each of the individual logins. One of the other key differences is the data in this one is harvested nightly rather than the kind of semi-live data that is in Web Reporter right now. This makes it much faster to run reports, although it does mean that you won't get anything for the current day for the most part. So, no, I don't want shared reports, I want my reports. That's where all mine are right now. The network is being a little bit slow in here for some reason. Okay, so I've been going through and creating a couple of reports. I'll just show you how they look like Web Reporter right now for these ones. Like this is the bad borrower barcodes one. I have it set up to just run for any library. If I come back here, the same with, let's see, count my collections. I choose my library and move it over, just like Web Reporter, run report. And that said, it does look like Web Reporter right now. There are things I can do to it to make it not look like Web Reporter. It has options Web Reporter doesn't. So that is one of the wonderful things about it. One of the things I do want to show you is this, which is a dashboard. And I don't have this quite set up the way that I want to right now because I should be able to get it down to just one prompt instead of 3. So if you give me just a second. Oops. Ingvild isn't here, is she? Oh, good. Okay, so this is a dashboard. This will give me a visual presentation of the data that I'm looking at. I could also have it do it as grid, so I could create a dashboard for like annual report information. I could have all of the annual reports put into one dashboard. You can just hit run once, and it'll give you all the information, at least the stuff that we can pull from Web Reporter currently. So you see this is a pie graph showing the different collection codes that are in use in Dodge Center. Here are the I types in a circle graph, ring graph, whatever. And then here is a bar graph showing the last checkout year for the items. So we can pull this sorts of information. I will say there are a couple caveats that I've encountered so far. If you look at the legend over here or these, you'll see that it says book fiction. Or if you look over here, it says 25% maxifying group 1. It is showing the description of our things instead of the code, or a combination of both of them, which would be ideal at this point. So we either need to get SirsiDynix to get on board and letting us choose that, or we're going to have to rename our collection codes to have the code at the front of the name. We're still working on that.
I'll just add that's actually all the BLUECloud products right now.
It is.
Doing it in Mobile
Circ too. So
And cataloging
cataloging,
as well.
yeah.
If you try and add items, it's
Yeah.
the same labels.
So we've got some workarounds we've been talking about, but haven't implemented anything yet.
Yes, and one of the other limitations at this point is this is designed to be a unifying element between Horizon and Symfony, the two major ILSs offered by SirsiDynix. Because of that, what they do is they take the information out of our database and they create its own database inside of this. So useful for some things. It does mean at this point that we can't bring in any of our custom tables, which we currently use, like the ILL lending one, the Overdrive BStat ones. But they are talking about that's going to be an option in the next couple quarters that we'll be able to import that directly. And there is also an option, which I haven't explored yet, where we can import like a CSV file into this, which I don't know how that works, but it sounds fun. Okay, just for the sake of brevity, that's where I'm going to cut it off at this point and invite Jake up here. If you have any questions, you can ask me afterwards.